Friday evening rush at Rusty Rail Diner was at its peak. Plates clattered, conversations buzzed, and the smell of grilled burgers lingered in the air. But behind the counter, Lena, the young waitress, moved quietly, almost too quietly for someone working in chaos. Her steps were small, her shoulders stiff, and every time someone called her name, she flinched as if struck by lightning. Most people didn't notice, but one man did. At a corner booth surrounded by the leather jackets and heavy boots of his crew, sat Ryder Kane, the leader of the Iron Serpent's motorcycle club. His presence alone could silence a room, but tonight he was unusually focused. Eyes locked on Lena as she placed a tray at the next table. When she bent slightly, the sleeve of her uniform shifted, revealing a dark bruise on her arm. Not a small one, not accidental. A deep, ugly mark. Ryder's jaw tightened. He watched as Lena quickly pulled her sleeve back, pretending it never happened, pretending nothing hurt. She forced a smile at a customer, but it never reached her eyes. A moment later, she walked past the biker's booth, and Ryder's eyes caught something else, a faint purple swelling along her collarbone. She tried to hide it with her hair, but it was too late. He'd seen enough. "Ryder," his VP murmured, noticing the shift in his expression. Ryder didn't answer. He was reading her body language like a map, how she avoided eye contact, how she winced when lifting a pot of coffee, how she kept glancing toward the kitchen door as if expecting something, or someone. Finally, she arrived at their table. Can I get you anything else?" she asked softly. Her voice trembled. Not from fear of them. Ryder knew that look. This was the fear of someone who had learned to stay small, invisible. Ryder leaned forward slightly. "Who hurt you?" The question was quiet, too quiet. Lena's breath hitched. For a moment she stood frozen. Her eyes widened, then darted away. No one. I'm fine. Just clumsy." Ryder didn't believe that for a second. Before he could push further, a loud voice burst from the kitchen. "Lena," a man barked, "get your useless self in here." Lena stiffened like someone had struck her spine. She whispered, "Excuse me," and hurried through the swinging kitchen doors. Ryder's bikers exchanged looks. "That him?" one muttered. Ryder didn't respond, but the storm gathering in his eyes said enough. A few minutes later, the kitchen door slammed. Lena emerged carrying 2 hot plates, hands shaking. Behind her stomped a man with a greasy apron and furious eyes, her manager Carl, and he was yelling, "Drop another plate and I swear." He grabbed her arm. Not firmly, not roughly, violently. The bruise Ryder had seen earlier pressed against Carl's grip. The entire diner went silent. Ryder stood up so fast his chair rattled across the floor. Everyone in the diner felt it. The shift, the danger, the moment everything changed. Ryder stepped forward, eyes locked. Carl froze, one hand still gripping Lena's arm, the other suspended midair as if he'd been caught stealing. His face shifted from anger to confusion, then to fear as he realized who was standing in front of him. Ryder Kane was not just any biker. He was the biker, leader of the Iron Serpents, a man whose name alone made troublemakers rethink their choices. But Carl was too foolish and too arrogant to understand what danger truly looked like. "This is none of your business," Carl snapped, tightening his grip on Lena as if to prove a point. "She works for me." Lena winced, biting back a cry. Ryder's fingers twitched. His crew stood up behind him, boots thudding like thunder, forming a silent wall of leather and steel. "Last time," Ryder said quietly, "take your hands off her." The entire diner watched, breathless. Carl scoffed. "You don't scare me. She's clumsy. She needs discipline." Discipline. The word hit Ryder like a spark thrown into gasoline. Before anyone could blink, Ryder grabbed Carl's wrist with one swift motion. His grip was like steel and Carl's face twisted in pain. "You call this discipline?" Ryder growled, lifting Carl's hand enough to reveal the full bruise on Lena's arm. Lena flinched, embarrassed, trying to pull her sleeve down. Ryder looked at her softly. "It's okay," he murmured. "You don't have to hide anymore." For a second, just a second, Lena's eyes filled with relief. No one had spoken to her like that in months. Carl jerked his hand back and shoved Ryder with all the force of a man who didn't understand. He just tried to move a mountain. Ryder didn't budge. Not an inch. His crew chuckled darkly. Carl suddenly realized he'd made a very big mistake. Let me make this clear, Ryder said, stepping forward. You don't hit women. You don't grab women. And you especially don't leave bruises on someone working themselves to the bone just to survive. Carl glared at Lena. You told them? You lying? Ryder's fist slammed into the table beside him, rattling plates and silencing the entire diner. She didn't have to tell me, Ryder said. I can see everything. Carl stumbled back, now fully shaking. You can't do anything to me. I'll call the cops. Ryder smirked slowly. You think the cops don't know exactly who you are? Or what you've been doing in that kitchen? Lena gasped softly. He knew? How? One of Ryder's men stepped forward. We've been watching this place for weeks. Heard rumors about a manager who gets handsy. Didn't think he'd be stupid enough to do it in front of us. Carl's face drained of color. Ryder turned to Lena. You quit, he said, voice gentler now. Right here. Right now. You don't take another order, another insult, another bruise. Lena shook her head, trembling. I can't. I need the money. My dad's medical... Ryder held up a hand. No more excuses. You deserve better. Carl lunged again, shouting, She's not going anywhere. Ryder stepped between them like a wall of eye.